guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Kyuujin, and today we're starting a new show with you guys. It is Frieren.
Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but right now that's how we say it.
Yeah, you vote for it, and it's done. We're doing it.
We asked you guys, shows that you recommended to us, and this was the anime that had the most votes.
Yeah, a lot.
It's still ongoing right now. I have seen it on the list of the best animes of 2023. It was there. So I am excited. I looked at the main summary of the story, but even there, I stopped at it's about an elf. I think. So I did not want to get spoiled at all. So I am going into this completely blind. I'm just expecting it to be good because of all you guys saying it was.
Like a fantasy type of show?
I know it's a fantasy type of anime, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's not much else to say. We will be having 2 episodes ahead on Patreon, as well as the full-length reactions if you want to see that. The link will be in the description below. And right now we're starting this 1 episode per week, but if we have the time, we might move it to 2 episodes a week. So check out the community page with the schedule for that.
In the meantime, let's go, guys.
Let's go.
Let's watch it.
It's not the type of opening I would expect from a fantasy show, but then again, Beyond Journey's End. It really is like the RPGs that we know. So we've got like the elf, we got the warrior, we got the dwarf, the magician probably. It looks good. I like this style of animation so far.
Yeah?
Frieren. Frieren. English.
私たち勇者一行の凱旋です。帰ったら仕事探さないとな。
Oh, I did read that the story started at the end of a journey.
Yeah?
They've defeated the Demon King. Okay. So the big epic adventure has happened.
酒が飲める仕事がいいですね。お前ソウルだろ。それもそっか。僕たちには想像もでき
She's
ない
an elf.
長いものになるんだろうね。
So we're gonna see what comes next, the big adventure, or what happened before?
What happens after? Is it Beyond Journey's End? So I'm guessing this is what happens after this big adventure. Is it gonna give us like To Your Eternity feels of I keep living and everyone else around me dies?
You think?
They were saying like your life is gonna go beyond everything and like.
So basically this is the epilogue of our D&D game.
Oh, a mage, okay.
世界に平和な時代が訪れよう。
Pretty cool.
僕たちの彫像を作ってくれるそうだ。忠実に再現できるかどうかは。
Okay, I see what type of person you are.
現金なもんだ。どうか10枚しかくれなかったくせに。
こうしてただ酒も飲めるわけですし、それでいいじゃないですか。
生臭坊主。
As long as I'm drunk, it's easy to give them stuff when they've won.
僕たちの冒険はこれで終わりだ。10年ですか。
Damn.
いろいろなことがありましたね。旅立ちの日に王様にタメ口聞いて処刑されかけたり、ハイターが二日酔いで役に立たなかったこともあった。週に一度はそうだったから。
Weekly
私は
occurrence?
優秀。
ミミックに食われかけた時は置いてこうかと思ったぞ、お前。置いてかない？
The good old days, right?
まったく
You almost got eaten.
クソみたいな思い出しかないな。
Oh, it's
It was a
fun.
journey.
It's fun, memories.
僕は君たちと冒険ができて。
But now what do? They separate? It's been 10 years
短い間
together.
だったけどね。
短い。
For her.
10年だぞ。すっかりおっさんになってしまったぞ。
But she's an elf. 10 years would mean nothing.
True.
Her concept of time is completely different. I'm basing all of this off of Lord of the Rings, by the way. If it's different, I'll figure it out.
エーラ流星。50年に一度の流星群。
Do we get to see it later in the story and she's
You
alone?
think?
綺麗だな。
街中だと見えにくいね。
人が感動しているんだ。
She's a mood killer.
じゃあ次。
They might not be around.
もっと綺麗に見える場所知ってるから案内するよ。 何？
いや
It's like she doesn't get it. They might not be alive.
みんなで見よう
That's gonna be sad.
We're talking about a medieval world. Like, what's the fucking life expectancy? Maybe, like, I'm guessing her race doesn't spend much time with mortals.
Yeah.
It would be a thing, like, you would stick to your people, but she had to spend
じ
time
ゃ
with
あ
them
私はここで
for the adventure, for
こ
the
れからどう
mission.
するつもりだ
魔法の収集を続けるよ。100年くらいは中央諸国を巡る予定だから、たまには顔を見せるよ。
You won't see time pass. Once in a while might be in, like, 70 years.
彼女にとっては些細なものなのかもしれませんね
I can already sense I'm gonna love the music. Passage of time. Blink of an eye.
I mean, unless you can find immortal friends, you're gonna be alone. Right?
Or, I mean, you're gonna suffer losses many, many times. And I love how they're doing this, goddamn, because they're gonna go through, I'm guessing, years in a moment, so we're gonna see it through her eyes. No time has passed, but then if we see them again and they're all old and gray,
や
暗黒竜の角うちでは取り扱ってないよ
召喚に使うのに。そういえば魔王城で拾ったやつ。ヒンメルに預けたままだっ
she's
け。
gonna see them again.
もうすぐエーラ流星の時期だし。
it's been
つい
almost
でに
50
取りに行く
years.
か。
You're gonna have a shock. And
Have you at least visit once?
apparently not.
前来た時とだいぶ街並みが違うの。
It's mere months for her.
フリーリン
ヒンメル、
God damn.
Oh man. I recognize those
老い
eyes.
ぼれてる。
It's a
言い
shock.
方ひどくない年を取った僕もなかなかイケメンだ
You're an handsome old man. You age like a fine
You dropped a
wine.
few inches.
魔王城で拾ったやつなんだけど。
暗黒竜の角だねずっとダンスから邪悪なオーラが出ていたからね
なんかごめん。
君にとっては軽い気持ちで預けたものかもしれないけど大切な仲間から
Oh,
預かっ
it
た
meant
大
so
事な
much to them.
Could I visit once at least?
It's actually there's a lot to talk about already, man.
そんな大層なもの
It
じゃない
is.
んだけど。
It's that big of a deal.
エーラ流星を見に行こうか
I think he's gonna die there.
Maybe. Oh. Well, the dwarf didn't change.
While dwarves are not immortal, but they can live pretty old, right?
あなたは全然変わりませんね
頭なでんな。
She's older than you.
アイゼンはあまり変わっていないね。
そうか
Maybe it's because of all the hair.
懐かしいよこうしているとあの時に戻ったかのようだ
I really love the music. The stick. God damn, okay.
いつも君たちがいた
We're the generation of nostalgia and they're gonna give us this.
全員が揃うこの日を待ち望んでいたんだありがとう最後にとても楽しい冒険ができた
He's gonna die this night. Wow, that's beautiful.
綺麗だ
Oh. This is episode 1? What the fuck did you fucking suggest to us, guys? You knew we were gonna cry.
幸せだったと思いますよ
そうなのかな。
おヒンメル様の仲間なんだって悲しい顔一つしないなんて白状だね
It's not that. Death is, I think, a concept she doesn't understand.
市長は真面目にやれ
で、私、この人のこと何も知らないし。
I think she feels bad that she doesn't feel bad.
I think that you knew enough.
一緒に旅しただけだし。
Yeah.
人間の寿命は短いって知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。頭なでんなよ。
It's true that when you don't have the same concept of time,
生徒に戻るとしましょうこれで最後になるでしょうからね私の墓に酒でも備えてください
Just so casually saying that, like,
ハイターは死ぬのが怖くないの。
世界を救った勇者パーティーですよ贅沢三昧に決まっています あなた方と共に戦ったのです。
生臭坊主。
But you don't have the same concept of time. Why would you bother to truly know someone if for you 10 years is like a few months, you know? But she still knew him. Like they went together, they had fun together, they had adventures together. I think that maybe in her head, like 10 years wasn't enough to know everything about him. What about her friend, you know? 20 years after the death of Emil, the hero.
まだ生きてたんだ生臭坊主。
He's still alive 20 years after?
難しいものですな。ありがとうございます。
あの子は
フェルンと言います。繊細孤児でした。なぜ私のところへ？
旅先で会う人とはなるべく関わるようにしているからね。死なれる前に返しに来た。
では一つ頼み事を。弟子を取りませんか？魔法使いとしての素質があります。連れて行ってくれませんか？
それだけはできない。足手まといになるから。友人から預かった子を七に送るつもりはないよ。
では別の頼み。賢者エービヒの墓所から出土したものです。今は失われた死者の蘇生や
そんな魔法が実在するとは思えないけど。
解読をお願いしたいのです。
5、6年もあれば死ぬのは怖くないんじゃなかったの？
あなたたちの手前格好をつけていたから、前より死ぬのが怖くなったから、
Why?
But
ほんの少しでいいから時間が欲しくなったのです。
6 years though? I don't know.
解読の片手間で構わないので。
そのくらいなら。
It's a big step.
言った。
私を見つけるのが大変でございましたか。ハイター様からもよく言われます。
魔力探知にほとんど引っかからない。卓越した魔力の操作技術だ。
一人前になれると言われました。
あれはね。
It's still pretty cool, I just gotta
魔力が
say.
離散してしまい届かないのです。どのような修行をすればよいのでしょうか。
魔法は好き。
ほどほどでございます。
私と同じだ。
Already done with it? That went fast.
Wow. I really like the art style.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
So
is it.
there's-
Episode 1.
There's a lot to talk about.
I feel like the message so far, I mean, probably for the show or the season, is to value those moments that we spend with our loved ones, or at least with people that are around us, because life is so short. But to make us understand that through the eyes of an elf is the best way, like the most obvious way you can show it, because she blinks, for her, she blinks, and the people that she spent time with die the second after. Life is so short, but if you're an elf, you won't see it pass at all. 10 years is nothing to her. So that's why she was like, oh, it was a mere 10 years, because she doesn't understand the weight of such a time spent with people.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are other elves, probably, because where did she come from? I'm surprised she's not spending more time with people like her, but I would, like I said in the episode, I would expect elves to just stick together so they don't feel
End up
this, so they
alone.
so they don't feel that pain of losing the people all the time that they care about. But since she had to do that journey with them, she had to do that mission with them, we got to see like how would she react to them spending those 10 years with her, and then when she shows up 50 years in the future, one of them dies, and she's like, oh, I barely knew him. But that's the thing, you spend 10 years with him, which is nothing to you, and you're saying I barely knew him. He knew so much, probably, like that's so much for him, but for her it's nothing. And yes, she did not make the effort to spend more time with them after, because it didn't register in her mind, I guess, that next time she would show up, he might die. The concept of death would be completely, inexistent almost. Like she would not understand it. Like she knew about human life and how short it was, but
Yeah.
she said herself that she wanted to learn more about
she
them.
did not really grasp the concept that, oh, it is that short compared to my own lifespan. You know?
And like, I know people were saying like, oh, she hasn't shown sadness at all during the funerals and stuff, but then to her it's like she barely spent any time with him. So even in the end when she started crying, I don't think she cried because like we saw flashbacks of the moment she spent with him. So I feel like in that moment she realized I did spend time with him. I did like him as a friend. He was close to me. And I think the tears were a bit for that, but mostly because of the loss of time and the lack of interaction that she could have had with them.
I mean, if you want to compare this to what we might know, it's like if you have like family member, like mother, father, grandparents that you see only once a year or maybe once 2 years, you know, and when those people that you love very 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 much died, you will think back on those times and said, I didn't took the time to see them more often.
What's a phone
You
call?
know?
What's a visit? In the moment, it might not seem like much, but at the end of it all,
because you think that I have all the time in the world to go see them next time.
exactly.
Again next time.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I think it's a good way to make us understand that time is precious and you should value the time you spend with your loved ones because you don't know what could happen. They could die any moment, like especially with what happened to me last year. We definitely understand that concept of what everything could happen and we don't know. So it's important to share if we can, like share as many moments as possible with those we care about because stuff like that can happen. So she's at the very beginning of that understanding and we'll probably see her understand it more and more, the concept of life, death, and time, how human lives, are spent and how much value they put to what she would not look twice at. So a decade, what it feels like for a human versus what it feels like for an elf.
Yeah.
Now that, not only is she, she's aware that she wants to learn more about humans and she's trying to spend more time with the people she shared adventures with, but she's been given a task to take care of that potential future mage and train her. So she'll have to, she needs to make her stronger, make her good at this, so she'll have to show up often. So if she gets close to her, we'll potentially see her grow up and maybe die in the future. That's the thing. There's so much potential for a to your eternity level of sadness here of she's not gonna die. I don't know if they are immortals or if they just live long lives. So, I mean, there's a lot of lore about elves in a lot of other shows or books and stuff. So it depends on what they go with. But let's say she's immortal, or at the very least, yeah.
Is there a lore where elves are not immortals, but they just have this really big ass lifespan?
I usually go with Lord of the Rings lore,
which immortal basically,
but it can still die.
Yeah,
just not of old age. So I go with that usually, but other shows have changed stuff about this, so I don't know how they'll attack this, how they will portray this, but it really looked like she had all the time in the world. Like, death was not a concept she understood. Kind of like why in the beginning she had no emotions at all, and I was like, she doesn't understand the concept of death. It's kind of like she doesn't realize that this guy who just died, she's never going to see again, and she had spent so much time with him, but to her it meant nothing, so that's why I said she was not crying, but we'll see. But still, if she gets close to more people, we'll potentially get to see them grow up and eventually we'll lose them, and it's also the concept of grief that's gonna be a part of this, so it's interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing, because if you for someone like an elf living and connecting with people who don't have the same type of lifespan that you have, basically you risk the fact of going through grief over and over and over again,
which could eventually lead to her separating herself from humans again.
But if you do that, you're also preventing yourself to make those connections to begin with.
Depends on what matters most to you, but it looks like she's gonna try to spend more time with them. At the very least, we might spend this episode was a lot of years. We traveled through time in this one because we needed to see it through her eyes. But since she has a mission and she's gonna be researching ways to obtain immortality and stuff like that,
resurrection or immortality spells,
we might spend more time just in the present with her and with the others. I don't know if a spell of immortality is possible, but we'll see. The priest, her friend, said that he lied when he said he was not afraid of death, because I don't think if he had said he was afraid of death, she would have understood as much, so it felt better, especially since it felt like it was the last time he was going to see them. You don't say, I'm afraid of death, when you leave them, knowing it might be the last time. Like, you make a cheerful event so they don't feel bad, and that's it. But since she showed up again and he's got a potential way to be immortal, we'll see. Maybe he felt like he spent his life, he wasted his life somehow, and he figured out at the end that there's so much more he wants to do, which is a human thing to realize. Like, you live your life thinking you have so much time, even for a human who knows like death is the eventual future. But then when you reach the end, you may be freaking out over, what if I had done this? Like, what if I had changed that? I want to try new things.
Have I done enough with my life?
Maybe. It's like he's just taking in this little girl. So maybe he's, he wants to make more connections. He wants to learn more, see more. Like, it's not outlandish to imagine that someone would freak out over a lack of time. So you compare that to Frieren, Jesus fuck.
Frieren.
Yeah, who has all the time in the world. And we will see her say so often like, I guess I can figure it out in like 5 to 6 years, which to her seems like a blink, but to him could be the difference between life or death, depending on when he dies. But so we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a beautiful way of telling that message, I feel. And I'm already loving the music, so I am excited for the future of this show.
What do you think about the animation?
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's smooth, and I know I've seen, was it a clip or something? I think it was on TikTok, and they showed a clothing animation, like how a shirt would move in this show, and it said that they went all out for this, and it showed, and I was like, wow, like if this is just a shirt moving, like what are we in store for in the future when it comes to animations? I don't think it's going to be much about fighting. I think it's going to be really psychological, which is fine. It does remind me of To Your Eternity.
Yeah, it does.
But it's good because those always make for the best conversations and the best reflections. So it's going to be interesting, especially after last year, to talk about death and life and time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That whole nostalgia vibe of, we spent so much time. Like, that whole speech with the music just gave me so many feels, because we often say that we're the generation of
nostalgia.
Nostalgia and what's melancholia. So basically, we're the generation that longs for the past and what used to be, because we grew up in a time where everything changed so fast. So kind of like, it's not like we had some technology when we were kids and that technology lasted us for years and years. So it changed so much that the technology from when we were kids, we kind of, it gives us a strong nostalgia feeling of, oh, those days were the best and stuff. So we don't have that anymore. Everything that represented our childhood is gone because everything evolved so quickly. So we're looking for that familiarity, that sense of comfort that reminds us of our childhood, and it's no longer there. Yeah. So we are the generation of nostalgia. It gave me that feel of reminding yourself of, oh, how it used to be, all the stuff we did. And I think it's interesting that we're starting this show after a journey, because again, we're seeing it through her eyes, and to her, this was nothing. So we would be feeling that, oh, we spent so many episodes with these guys, we feel connected and stuff. To truly make us understand how she feels about these people, we needed to start at the end of the journey when we barely saw any of them. So when they die, we don't really feel attached. But then we see those flashbacks and we're like, oh, okay, there was something there, and she did not, go back to him. She basically wasted his life because she felt that it was nothing, that, time goes on forever and there's no loss there. So we get to understand better her point of view, and I think it's genius.
All right. So that's it. That was first episode of Frieren.
Yes, I'm gonna struggle.
Not Frieren.
I'm gonna struggle with the pronunciation of this, because I'm gonna try to pronounce it correctly, but my mind will go to Frieren every time.
Like Eren Yeager.
Indulge me, I guess, but Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode with us. It's gonna be a cool journey and I'm excited about it. So if you want to see the next 2 episodes right away, you can check out our Patreon. The reactions will be there. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't want to, the next one shall be on YouTube pretty soon. So see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.